Constructing your life is about much more than just building a bank account. Each week, join real estate entrepreneur and mindset coach Austin Linney as he interviews guests who are constructing their dream lives and impacting the world around them on a daily basis. If you're an entrepreneur or wanting to start a business, or you just want to hear motivating stories of how others have overcome the odds, you are in the right place. And now for your host, Austin Linney.
Guys, welcome back to Construct Your Motherfucking Life. We got the boys in the house, the Chop Cities. We got Brooks and Dave. What's going on, guys?
Let's go.
That was the best out of 400 episodes. That's the best intro I've ever done.
He goes hard in the paint.
I
like that. I use a lot of basketball references.
So we've had Dave on the podcast. We haven't had the pleasure of having Mr. Brooks on. So I'll let you go first and kind of tell people who you are, what you do, and we'll kind of go from there.
If you had asked me this question 2 weeks ago, Austin, I would have said, hey, I'm Brooks. I'm from Memphis, Tennessee. I recently just relocated to Richmond, Virginia. I live less than 1 mile from my boy, the Chopper, Dave Robinson. And I'm a coach. I help people get unstuck. I help people find clarity, and I teach people how to live a life that they are super proud of. Mm-hmm. The way that I would describe myself in this moment now is I am all of that and more. And the more is I am a magical storyteller. I tell unbelievable stories and I perform them for people and I blow their minds and teach them big lessons. And this is a new identity that I'm stepping into very hard. And it's something that I'm super excited about. And I find that the way that I've been able to contribute to other people's lives has been helping them find what they're a yes to, and then teaching them how to strategically take steps to get what they want. That's what I do.
Damn. He's getting good, man. I'm fired up already, dude. Well, you know what's interesting is if you distill every bajillion marketing book that I've read, which I've read almost all of them, it's very simple. Can you articulate your story properly to get people to connect with you on a way that is deeper than business? It's very simple.
Facts.
I mean, right? And so, like, at the end of the day, people need to understand that the actual product that you're selling is meaningless. Are they connected to you? And that's the same thing I said on a meeting this morning, you know, and so, you know, Dave, you know, quick kind of overview real quick, and then we'll get rolling.
Well, I got to give Brooks a lot of love and shout out here to corroborate everything he said. It's all factual. Not only does this man coach his heart out, but he tells fantastic fucking stories.
I don't want to catch you off guard. Have one in your holster because we're probably going to take a trip. All right. So
look out, Mike. So I'm Chopper Dave Robinson from Richmond, Virginia. I am a coach. I'm a world-class coach, and I stepped into that identity in 2020, embodied it fully in 2021, and here we are in 2022, still chopping. So I teach men how to look, live, and feel better. I heal head and heart first, outside or before the physical body, and the physical body, everything does work in concert with one another. So that happens in some ways. In some ways, it does happen first. Now that I'm sitting here thinking about it, and in many ways, the most effective way to heal is head and heart, and that's what I found personally. That's what I do professionally. I do story work using the Enlifted method. I'm co-host of the Get Enlifted podcast, along with Chase Tollison and Kim Kesting, and we are rocking and rolling in many ways, shapes, and forms. So.
I'd like to make an observation. Is that a sauna over his back, left shoulder? Oh my God.
That's exactly what that is.
You have a sauna in your office.
Yes.
Officially jealous, putting it on the list. Yeah, no big deal.
This is how he sold me on Richmond, by the way.
Oh,
I got a story for you right now.
Cool. Let's go.
No, I got a story for you right now. So My 35th birthday was last September, and my wife wanted to get me something special. And I'd been talking about wanting to do a Spartan race. And so when you say out loud that you want something, the world can conspire in your favor to make it happen. My wife is very intelligent. She knew exactly who to reach out to, the one and only Chopper Dave Robinson. OCR World Championship qualified Dave Robinson. That's who she reaches out to. And Dave says, hey, I'm doing this race in West Virginia. Here's the links that you need, sets her up proper. And she couldn't wait to surprise me. It's 2 weeks out from my birthday. And she was like, babe, I got you a Spartan race for your birthday. You're going to go link up with your boy Dave in Richmond, and you're going to do the beast. And I was like, you mean the half marathon with 35 obstacles in the mountains of West Virginia? I was rolling up for a 5K, like a little 10K jammer. And then she drops me the whole shebang on 2 weeks notice. And so I'm like, oh shit, this is going down. I'm actually going to do this shit. But here's the thing. I was worried about it as soon as I landed Richmond. Dave's fucking got me covered. He's got my shoes. He's got my gear. He's got my nutrition protocols. He's telling me already which turns and which places and which mile markers I need to be fueling and this and that. And it was an absolute ball. I had an amazing time completing this race. I made every obstacle except for 2 in the last like quarter mile. I missed a freaking spear throw. Come on. I missed the spear throw, had to do burpees. And then I fell off an obstacle at the end. I'm not going to lie. So the race goes down in West Virginia. We move it on back to Richmond. And the day after, we're doing some recovery at Dave's house. And he's got the sauna here, as you can see in the video. It's infrared and it's heated. So we're getting it from the inside and the outside. We're hot boxing that thing. I'm just keeping it real. Cannabis is legal in Virginia. You can grow it in your backyard.
Hot box in the sauna.
Having a little hot.
Yeah.
Anti-inflammation, you know.
It's anti-inflammatory. It's a, you know,
what it is? Recovery. You know what marijuana is? Anti-bullshit. That's what marijuana is.
And we just cut to what we want, and we go outside, and he's got a freezer that is full of water. That is his cold immersion. I mean, and we're talking like just barely above freezing. In fact, there's so much water frozen in there. There's a chunk of ice that you have to sit on just to immerse yourself in said cold container. And also, and this is not to be missed, this is key to the story, there is a hot tub right next to it. So he's got both of them fired up. We're going cold, then we're going hot, then we're going cold again. We're going hot. We do like 5 rounds of this. We've done our 5th cold round, and we're in the hot tub for the last time. And I just feel my body go, yeah. Dave looks at me in that moment and he goes, you know, if you moved here, we could do this every day. He said, if you moved here, we could do this every day. No fucking joke. I moved there. Me and my wife were living there in less than 30 days.
It was less than a calendar month.
Packed it up, got on the way. And now Dave and I are neighbors, and we're working together, and life is awesome. And it's been one of the best decisions that I've made in a really long time.
So it's a great metaphor for that amazing story that you just told about a couple things in there. And you know, I'm kind of drilling down on this thing lately. It's magical moments. You know, do magic moments happen, or are they set up? You know, and it also is an analogy for coaches, for mentors, for friends that have already been there, right? Like he's already raced the race. He's got your shoes. He's got your thing. He's got your thing. And so, you know, too many times in life, our ego allows us to take a trip that we take by ourselves. And I'm just not in a place anymore where I care to have any credit for anything, right? My client successes are my client successes. They're not my successes. It's for them. Same thing in business and stuff. And so, you know, when somebody is running the race of life, look at me, I'm dropping the the flow is there. When somebody's running the race of life, where does one even begin to start if they are unhappy with their environment, their position, their job, they're just anywhere that they are right now. I think in order to get the maximum value for this episode, what are tactical ways to even get rolling in the right direction if you're not dialed in?
I know that Dave could speak at length on this as well. The first thing that I'll say on our behalf is the really simplest way is to start with those basic, simple habits that you do every day. Part of what gets us stuck is imagining, forecasting scenarios in the future that don't exist yet, that cause fear and uncertainty enough to keep us from taking action, from getting that water, from going on that walk, from having that conversation with your partner. These are things that can start to get us unstuck. And just because it's so fresh on my mind, recently I performed my one-man performance, The King Says Yes, which is a story about my friend and I going on a backpacking trip to Jamaica when we were in college and what I learned on that journey. And what I learned on the journey there is that when you are saying yes or trying to grow into your fuck yes life, there are things that you can get, like can be guaranteed are going to show up. And one of the first ones is uncertainty and having to make decisions in uncertainty. We call that faith. There's going to be a time where you need to have faith in yourself given the uncertainty in order to take those bold actions to get you where you want to go. And another one is understanding that when we're building or constructing the desired life that we want, we're going to game plan. We're going to create a game plan and we're going to try to imagine scenarios along the way that could come up that we know how to go through. So I'm a big sports fan. I played sports growing up. Simple, right? You're going to go play against a team. You're going to come up with a game plan. You're going to have your tactic and strategies, and then the game starts. And then your plan mixes with reality and the other team's plan. And a lot of what happens is that you have to create a new plan in the fly, in the moment while you're out in the field. Mm-hmm. Okay. And so another thing that's going to show up is, are you going to clutch, like squeeze your old plan, even when it doesn't mix with the reality that you're living in the game? And if you hold on to that old game plan, you are going to lose. Right? You get to then have faith again. It starts over. You have to have faith in this new uncertain territory that you're in that's informed by previous decisions. It's informed by previous experiences. But once you're in the game and the game starts, be prepared to go with the flow and then find those opportunities to really assert what you know to be true and take those leaps and throw the Hail Mary pass or whatever it is that we're trying to cast metaphorically with a sports analogy. These are predictable stages and phases that you're going to experience. And so what I would do if I was working with someone is facilitate this conversation so they can at least have the opportunity to think about it in their mind before they start taking action.
Yeah, and there's a lot of low-hanging fruit here, y'all. A lot of low-hanging fruit, especially from a health and wellness standpoint. So it's the habits first. It's getting in the dirt first. Literally and physically, and not literally, right? It's clouds and dirt as well. It's mindset and dirt, right? So it's the habits. The easy stuff, oftentimes, the simple stuff, oftentimes, get walking, get moving, get drinking good water, get eating good food. Let's design structure behind the movement that we do. Let's do it for a reason, right? Let's know why we're eating what we're eating and why we're making those choices. But also that the head and the heart, working through those obstacles, working through those things that we've experienced in the past and helping to shift our relationship to them. Getting through those what if questions, knowing that things are going to come up, and problem solving, being resilient, being adaptable. All those things are things that we look at from not only that cloud perspective, that 10,000 foot perspective, but really in that hands-on way, and start to shift those habits for people and shift those mindsets for people.
Well, what's interesting is like, and I just met with one of my new clients today. And if I had to pull all the clients I've had, or just any workshops I've coached, or just anything, I would say the number one thing, the common thread is they're searching for consistency, like all of them. And they've stopped and started a million things, or they stopped this diet or this workout program. And I'll just give my opinion on the thing. I think that um, if I had to boil it down to, they haven't given themselves a long enough time horizon. They haven't established what they truly want and make sure it's 100% for them. And then they've overcomplicated it. I think that's a basic breakdown. Like, if COVID taught me anything, it's like, dude, you don't need a fucking gym. I haven't been in a gym in 2.5 fucking years. Like, I'm in the best shape I've ever been in. I could be a better, and like, so I try to say to myself on a regular basis, simple. What's the thing I could do right now? And so, do you see the same thing in some of your clients too, the consistency, Brooks?
Part of the challenge, I think, is that we've been taught that intensity has a particular value above consistency. We've been taught that there is a value to working really, really hard, long hours for intense periods of time. That's been given a certain social value. And the challenge with that is that not everyone is prepared to be resilient enough to withstand all the things that come with that, and they inevitably break. So resiliency is one of the words that Dave and I will say often. It's about learning to be resilient. And if you're not taking care of the basics and building the foundation, you're actually much more likely to crack when the intensity starts to ramp up. Most people don't have the foundation set in order to go at that intensity for long periods of time. But what I've continued to go back to, whether it's strength training or business or working in a relationship with my wife, it's that going back to the basics is essential for keeping the foundation set. Okay. And so that's the part is that's not sexy. It's not the flair that people imagine from a successful life. They expect all the vacations and the beautiful people and the fun times, and they're looking for the payoff. Consistency is found when you are in love with the doing. When you are in love with the doing of the process, consistency is an easy outcome. And if you're doing it consistently, there is a certain level of ease that exists in your body and in your psychology that you can just continue to do it for a longer period of time. And so what I tried to do in the same sense, Austin, is that, a play is a word that comes up in my coaching a lot. It's like, hey, what are you doing to create a vent for all of this pressure that is coming up by working very intensely, and everything's intense. Their morning routine's intense, and their work routine is intense, and they're stacking other things, and they're got the side hustle, and they're trying to have a relationship, and they're going on this and that, and it creates pressure. So we need to learn how to alleviate that pressure through some sort of mechanism. And I think fun is that mechanism.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I think, at the end of the day, man, yeah, you really got me thinking on that intensity part, because like my walks in the morning have changed my life. Like, simple as that. And I don't like put any pressure around, like, I'm not speed walking or anything, but like just taking some time, listening to some books, reading some books, doing like that. So, what I typically found is that we can probably eliminate like 40% of the bullshit you're doing and drill down on the 60% or 50% that we're doing and create exponential growth. And so, when somebody, let's say they're Dave, let's say they're, working out, but they're not seeing the results. And I know I had the same thing when I was in a bad marriage and I couldn't lose the weight and stuff. How much of weight loss and feeling at the top of your health do you think is from stuff that they're holding on to mentally or in their heads too, along with, the physical part?
A considerable amount, because it relates back to stress and cortisol. If I think about something and I go into a stress response, or I stay in a stress response, or my words or my thoughts or my feelings or my home situation or my work situation or that thing when I was 12 are keeping me in a chronic state of fight or flight, then cortisol's high, testosterone's low. I'm not going to lose any weight. In fact, I'm going to gain weight in the wrong places. And the added intensity of my workouts on top of that is going to keep driving cortisol up and keeping me inflamed and have me not recovering and not adapting. And so when we can address the words that we're using, when we can address the stories that we're telling ourselves, we can start to shift those identities and pull a couple levers to add some water back into the buckets of family, fun, fitness, food, right? Like doing the easy stuff. If we can add +2 based on having a conversation with your wife or your husband or your kids, or, if we can have you walk a little more and drink a little more water on a regular basis and get sunlight, 3 or 4 times a week, now that it's springtime, go get your hands in the dirt, like go plant a small 4x4 garden, right? And watch your stress levels just plummet. Right. Grounding is a thing for a reason, nature is a thing for a reason, so when we can start to combine all these things, head, heart, health, habits, the stress levels come down, man, and we can get into that parasympathetic, we can get into that rest, relax, that feed and breed. And that's where we start to process emotions. That's where we start to actually learn, right? That's where we start to heal, to regenerate, to repair, to rebuild. So it's crucial. You can run all the miles you want. You can lift all the weights you want. You can eat all the organ meat and kale and fucking whatever. And if you're not dealing with the head and the heart and the stories, it's not going to matter nearly as much.
Yeah. And I think, one of the big things for me is I just think that everybody's like taking themselves too fucking seriously. It's like, dude, like, what's the game here, bro? Like, what are we not white knuckling shit? What is going on? It's just, I just don't think it's necessary. Like, so, with my companies, like, we're going to build a fucking empire with a fucking smile on our face. Like, I know that's going to be like a revolutionary fucking business term, but we're going to do it with a smile, and we're going to treat people right. And we're going to do it in less days. Everybody else is working, like, hey, dude, there's days like these first 2 days this week are busy as fuck. Like, I got Zoom calls out my what, but it's not like anything I don't want to do. And so we need to really, like, what I tell everybody is, like, whether it's making you money or not, lean into the stuff that give you energy. If coaching and helping and doing all these things is giving you energy, then go do more of that. And then it'll show up in other parts of your life.
Yeah, and what you do, as far as, or at least what you did last week when we linked up in Richmond for the Getting Lifted podcast, is, you front loaded your week, and you had a lot of shit going on, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, so let's say, and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you're on the road, you're traveling, you're doing podcasts, you're visiting friends, you're fucking getting workouts in, whatever it is, right? And so I think for those of us who are entrepreneurs, who do have some time and financial flexibility, is set yourself up in the manner that and this is very practical, very fucking practical for people, right? Set yourself up in a manner that is ideal for you and how you work and what you do, right? Austin, you're a 4:30 a.m. guy, right? Yeah. I am not. I'm up in the 4s for traveling and racing, and that is fucking it, right? I'm up in the 5s for traveling and racing, and that is fucking it, so probably the 6s too, if I'm being really honest, but what I have done is I've built my business, my day around the fact that for me personally, I like having a little bit more sleep, a little bit slower mornings, and I'll ramp things up like from 9:30, 10 a.m. all the way through 5, 6, 7, 8 if need be, but that slow morning is important to me. Austin, you'd like to build it out your way, right? Brooks has his own style, right? But when we can embrace that, a lot of good things happen because it's less stressful. It's less stressful. Things are
the model, like we'll model, like Dave, there's certain things that you do and Brooks does that I want to do, but they have to be mine. Like they have to, like, there's a guy I follow who has like 6 businesses who, for whatever reason, he doesn't like working Monday mornings. And so he doesn't work until 1 o'clock on Mondays, and he doesn't work after 1 o'clock on Fridays. And that's for him. And so, like, he found his schedule. And so like like self-awareness, and like I call it hacking oneself, like hacking oneself and knowing what you do. Like I know this. Let's say I have 6 Zoom calls and a 2-hour break in the middle of the day and then 3 more after that. I don't want to do the 3 after that 2-hour break. I'm like done. The brain shut off. I'm good. So I know that in order to be successful, I have to set up where I go. Yeah. And I might bitch about it, but back to back to back. So I can just stay in the zone and just go to town, and then I'm done. And so like that works for me. But whatever works for you, and it really like 100% setting yourself up for success, setting your environment up for success, and then getting around some other ridiculously driven people and getting them to fucking push you and inspire you and carry a conversation or be there when you're not feeling like let's just call it what it is. Like the coaching business is a fucking roller coaster. Like it's a fucking roller coaster. You got all the clients, none of the clients, this client's driving me crazy, you know, and like it's just the game. There is freedom behind it, but it also, you know, it'll test your emotional stability like nothing I've ever seen before.
And bro, I just want to interject real quickly because I got wrecked on a coaching call this morning, right before this. My 10 to 11 a.m. We hopped on here at 11 a.m. I was crying at 10:55, like right off the phone or off the Zoom call with this woman, and just got fucking wrecked from like minute 17 to minute 55. And keeping it cool, doing a great job of keeping it low, keeping it slow. I did this, got off screen one time and put myself on mute and just went, fuck, came back in, you know, but it not only does it have the ups and the downs and incredible highs and incredible lows, it's the most rewarding career that there could possibly be, in my personal opinion. And it'll test you some days.
Ken, we have a couple of word nerds on this podcast right now. Word nerd alert. Okay, we got a word nerd alert. Does this sound like a balanced life to you guys?
No
It's
question.
not. Does this sound like a balanced life? So I'm getting at this. I want to do a little word experiment for people that are listening to this. What you're hearing is not balance. Yeah. So if you're looking for work-life balance.
Oh, well, first of all, it doesn't fucking exist.
That's what I'm getting at. But there is work-life harmony. And what we're describing here is harmony. If you harmonize in music, not everybody's playing the same part. Not everybody's part is balanced, but it is harmonized because you can use each part to amplify the effect of each instrument. So Austin has created a certain level of harmony by packing his schedule into a 3-day window that is rather intense, so he can harmonize the other 4 days into his life that include the traveling, the podcasting, the things that he greatly enjoys. This is harmony. Dave, if I'm speaking into what he just experienced, it's not balance, right? But there is harmony in learning how to ride the waves that come with coaching and come with just being a person in general. But when you're coaching, you see humanness mirrored back to you in an intense way sometimes. Yeah, very intense. And so, you know, if you're a coach, you know if you've been coaching for a particular time that it goes beyond the classic coach trainer client relationship, if you really start to coach people and get to know them, you see yourself reflected back to you at an intense level sometimes. And what that does for me is it creates harmony in my development, because there's times where I really feel like I know what I'm talking about. I'm just on my game. And then sometimes I get hit with the discord note that actually needed to be there to realize that in order to create better harmony for myself, I can change my instruments just a little bit. I need to hear those notes in practice come back to me that don't sound like me, even if I thought I wrote them down to fit in that way. Sometimes it doesn't sound so good anymore. You've been playing the same song for the last 10 years and it just doesn't sound good to you anymore. It's still the same harmony, but it's not what you need right now. And so, yeah, now I feel like this is how can we guide people to transition from this space of not having that harmony in their life to having that harmony?
Well, they haven't defined what they even need for the harmony. That's the bigger issue, because their initial thought, at least my clients, is that money's going to get them there. Like, sorry, Charlie, that don't work that way. And so, like, what people have to understand, like, this is a cultivation of like 2 fucking years to like get my shit to this place. And what happened to me was like, I was like, I'm gonna wait like a year and a half to like get down the road to like, do my schedule the way I want. And then like a client like fucking just no call, no show. And I was like, you know what? I was like, fuck this shit. I was like, I'm gonna do what I need to do for me to be happy. And then everybody else has to fall in line to that. And the moment I did that, the business fucking took off like a fucking rocket ship, like Elon Musk created. Like, and so it's amazing when we own what we need, how the universe not bends its will, but shows up for you in return.
Abracadabra.
What does that word mean, Dave?
With my word, I create. With my word, I influence.
Abracadabra. Let's get this story straight.
Yeah.
Got to get the story straight.
Exactly. So I got something very interesting. This is going to be good. High level coaches. We're going to do we're going to put them in the seat.
Can't wait. I live in the seat, bro.
Dave, what is something that you're currently doing that you need to remove from your life? That maybe it's not.
That I need to remove.
That is something like a habit or something that is not great for you, but you haven't like maybe it's something in your business or personally.
Not looking at the books on a regular basis being more than once every quarter, or
I think you do. I think
to be like, hey, I did it once in the whole year. At the end of the year, I was like, oh, great. So and this is real. This is a real conversation. And I mentioned I had created and stepped into that identity of being a world-class coach, right? Mm-hmm. And I had a realization at the beginning of 2022 that, wow, I had accomplished that. I did that. That felt great. I am that. I can say that and fucking know it's true. And the gap between where I was, okay, here I am, world-class coach. I was a shitty business owner, maybe even worse than shitty business owner. I was just rolling with it, right? And so it took a lot for me to and I had a good business, right? Like, I'm making the money I need to make, doing the things I want to do, like loving life. And I just didn't have any responsibility for it. I had offloaded that. I had not taken it on for myself. And so in the beginning of 2022, I made a commitment to, in this year, close that gap between where I am from a coach and the quality coach to a quality business owner or entrepreneur or financial person. And so I have taken steps towards that. I have not solved that entire equation yet. There are things I've procrastinated on. There are also things that I have done that I've procrastinated on for a long fucking time before then. So I'd love to say that everything is A1 and perfect, and I'm looking at it every day or week, and my systems are NASA proof systems, but it's a process. So that is my 2022 goal, along with it being the best year ever, is to again close that gap from world-class coach to world-class entrepreneur.
Brooks?
To refresh, this is something that I need to stop doing or start doing?
Stop. Something that you're currently doing or that you're not doing that needs to be like within business or personal.
I'll tell you what I'm not doing that I really need to be doing more of. And it's the answer to your question is I need to make more offers. I need to invite people personally to work with me more often. I do not talk about what I do with people in a clear, concise way in the platforms that I'm on. I do speak about it clearly and concisely when I have wonderful opportunities like this to get on a podcast, but I need to start making more invitations for people to work with me and give people an backdoor access to what my life actually looks like. And I commend Dave on that. Dave regularly shows the behind the scenes footage of his life. And that is what has drawn me to him as a person, the in-person and what I get to see of his life on his social pages. And so I need to start showing people my life more and better. What I need to stop doing is seeking people to choose me for their team. I want to be chosen for the team. You know, I like playing with my friends, so to speak. And I've been wanting someone to choose me, quote unquote, for their team. And what I realized in the last couple of weeks is that, one, I get to choose my team. I get to choose my team. And I've chosen my teammate for life and my spouse, right? Dave chose me as his teammate. I wasn't seeking him to choose me, but now I see Dave has chosen me for his squad. Like, we're working together. But I was seeking the approval of other people that I imagined was living some alternative life that I wanted to live. And I was hoping that they would choose me for their team. And that has stopped, and it needs to continue to stay stopped.
Those were two of the best answers I've ever heard. I'm going to take this, re-listen to that, because y'all just set this fucking bitch on fire, dude. Like, I'm telling you right now, because that was pure vulnerability as a CEO and a leader of his own company, admitting to himself, which most people don't, what needs to happen. And that's powerful shit. So I think people are going to get a lot of, there's a lot in there.
Listen, if you're listening to this and that felt vulnerable, what we just did, come see us. This is, now that we've worked on ourselves, Dave and I personally, we are open and able to have these, quote, vulnerable conversations with men, because we are, both of us, safe, we're sexy, and we're secure. And that's what a modern man is. You got to learn to be safe with other people. If you can't control your emotions around other people, you're not safe, period. And kids, especially, I had a father that didn't feel safe. He was a loving dad. He was always there. He is a personal hero of mine as an adult. But as a child, I didn't understand that when he popped off all of a sudden, all I knew was that felt unsafe. If you have children, they are going to remember that much more than anything else. They're going to remember how you made them feel. So if you're a modern man out there, people are going to want to feel safe around you, men and women alike. Sexy. It is sexy to own your shit. What Dave and I just did, talking about where we're falling short, you have that conversation with a potential partner, that's sexy as fuck. They're going to be like, damn, I'm actually going to get access to his emotions. That is sexy. And then the last is secure. Secure can mean a lot of things. One, I'm secure with who I am and how I show up to the world. There's also a level of financial security that needs to come with that too. Are you secure? Can you stick to the plan? Can you continue to roll with the punches? And can you continue to create a secure environment for yourself and for other people? Safe, sexy, and secure. And we model that every day in our life with our partners, in our business, with our clients. That's how we live our lives. And so if you want to learn to live that way, Dave and I have a wonderful experience that you can come and be a part of if you feel so inclined. Just know that this is accessible to you, and it actually will not take that long to learn how to access and wield that.
So that last 14 minutes was a masterclass, but here's how we take it to another level. Because you said this was your weakness. So just dripping with ego and bravado, I want you to shoot out an offer right now, Brooks. We're going to put you on the spot.
Beautiful.
Just offer it up, baby, right here.
Beautiful. Men, you want to become the master of your domain and your legacy. You work hard, you love on your family, but you know that there's just a gap between you and where you want to go. It probably has something to do with the story that you're telling yourself. It probably has something to do that you use words like probably and maybe I could one day. What Dave and I are going to do for you in 1 year is not only radically change your life and perspective of how easy it is to live your best life, but we're going to walk you through the stabilizing phases of what that actually means. Not just give you the mind bomb and let you send you back out into the world with no support. No. We're going to get you there in 90 days. And then for the next 9 months, you're going to learn how to sustain that consistent fuck yes life. And you're going to become a master of the life that you want to live. You're going to learn to chop. Now, what do I mean by chop? Here's how you know you're chopping. Are you seeking connection with yourself or someone else? You're chopping. You trying to master your habits? You're fucking chopping. Are you trying to optimize your life? You're chopping. And if you are playing and having a good time with yourself or with other people, boy, you chopping. Come learn the chops with Dave and I, and we will change your life in 1 year.
Just so we're clear, I'm emailing this over to my podcast guy. He's going to rip it out of this podcast, and that's for you to take, brother, because you just destroyed it.
Let's go. Yeah. Thank you for the invitation.
You know what's funny? That was your thing that you're working on. I got the same piece of advice 8 months ago. It changed my entire life.
Tell me more about that.
Man, oh fuck, man. So I had a big client at the time, who I knew was probably not the right client. Come to find out a couple weeks in, definitely not the right client. Some underlying things in there that she was not stable. But it was a lot of money. It was most of my monthly income. And we were walking on Sunday, and I had a call with her the next day. She hadn't showed up the last two, and she owed me. She was like 2 weeks late in her pay, still owed me another week, and like all this shit. And we were walking, and I said, she's going to text me in the next hour and tell me that we're done. Like I said that to my fiance. And sure enough, she texted me and said, oh, it's not the right time right now. And she still owed me for like 3 sessions. And she's like, but I'm not paying you anymore. Don't email me. And just like, whatever. And I was like, fuck. I was like, that sucks. That hurts. And I called my buddy. My buddy makes a ton of money, and he is a king at marketing and offers. And I send him over an offer, and he'd rip out 90% of it. And like, that's the dumbest thing ever. And he had one of the most honest conversations he ever had with me. He said, dude, listen. He said, for 2 fucking years, you have put so much value into this world. You have helped so many people. He said, you have put out so many podcast episodes, and you have way too many friends. And he goes, are you a businessman? Are you a friend? Figure it out, but make a choice. And he said, if I don't see you making offers this week, I'm not going to give you any more advice anymore. And he says, you can take ownership of your business, or you can figure it out later. There's only one way. And so I devised a plan, started an Airbnb group that I was coaching. I made some offers. I started making some very uncomfortable Instagram posts that were like saying like, come hire me. And like, it was a whole thing. And I started changing my wording. And then I signed up 5 people with the Airbnb group, and that recovered what I lost from her. And then I signed up 2 clients, and then I signed up my largest client, which was a website build and a thing. And then what happened in that 2-week span is I said to myself, I said, what if you just fucking wrote down a ridiculous fucking number? Like this number that just makes your ass sweat. I was like something that you never thought was possible. And I was like, what would happen? And I said, you know what? I'm just going to do it. I said, I don't know how, I don't know where it's going to come from, but I'm going to do it. And so I wrote this number on my whiteboard, and I stuck it right in front of my computer. And I just stared at it every fucking day, just blinking. Beep, beep, beep. You you going to do it? You going to figure it out? You going to do it? You going to do it? Sold a property. Bam. Oh shit. Got some money coming from over there. Bam. Signed up 7 clients in 2 weeks. Bam. And I was like, there's no way you're going to hit this ridiculous number. And then, by the way, I'm never going to share the number so people can kiss my ass. But, and I got down on December 29th and I re-upped a client for 6 months and I hit 6,000 over that shit. 7 months. And then boom, I did 3/4 of that number in January alone. And it was like, because what it was a declaration to myself that I deserved it. And the moment that I owned it and set it out there, myself got pulled through and the universe conspired against to just make it happen. And you can look at my spreadsheet. It came from everywhere.
Yeah.
Like it was like bam, 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 bam. And so, and what I realized in that moment when I started making really good money per month is that nothing changed. My lifestyle didn't change. I didn't change. I tell you, the only thing that changed is that I didn't need to need you anymore. You had to earn the right, and you had to put in the work in order to show up and let's co-create together. And so the value of oneself raised. And so I started attracting the right business partners instead of the scammers.
Damn.
Send this little, 4-minute segment to your podcast guy and chomp that shit out.
Done.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's go, dude. We just wrecked this motherfucker, dude. I love impromptu podcasts. Dude, I felt so good. I haven't like fully shared that story, but that's like the truth. And it's like,
it's a rad story, man.
It's you know what it is? And we spent the last 4 days with Sprague and Ryan Sprague, and I'm going on his podcast in just a minute. And then Rachel, and it hit me this morning. There's only 2 things that you need in this life to be happy, healthy, and successful: personal responsibility and self-love. You master those 2 things, you're off to the races. Now, what do I mean by personal responsibility? That you own your shit, your past, your present, your future, where you're headed. And what does it mean by self-love? It means to remove yourself from the quintessential shame cycle that we seem to love like a warm coat, where I missed the workout. And then I'm going to beat myself up for 3 days and skip the second workout because I'm beating myself up again, and so on and so on and so on. So loving you completely for who you are. If you love to garden all day, then garden all day. If you love to play the flute all day. But don't you dare make apologies for who you are anymore. And just be you, man. And I think that if I had to roll it down to what I hope for all my clients and my friends, I think that's everything. So whatever it is that you want to do, just go do that.
Yeah, whatever it means to you, keep doing it,
And then own it, live inside of it, and step into the greatness, and you have no idea where the hell you're going to go.
The king says yes.
Yes. So, gentlemen, if people want to find out, follow your journey, more about that, how would they do that?
Go ahead, DR.
I'm at daverobinson.coach on Instagram. I'm currently at workyourstories.com. That's my website, workyourstories.com. That'll be forwarded very, very soon as I clean up some back end stuff, as discussed earlier. Brooks.
At Brooks Meadows on Instagram, you can check out my current fitness product. It's called Serious Fun. It is an on-demand workout library for helping men reclaim their natural athleticism and getting out of pain. You can find that at seriousfun.io. And soon, Chop Club for Men will be live online mastery group starting in mid-April. Probably right when this launched.
Probably right.
Chop, no. Yeah, so it's already launched. Chop Club for Men. That's exactly where you can.
ChopClubForMen.com. Chop Club for Men on Instagram. Check us out. Join the
We did work today, boys. We did work. I'm
chopping.
proud. I'm proud. Guys,
That's
if you like this episode, send it out to your friends, share it with somebody, get some value. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for listening to Construct Your Life with Austin Linney. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to rate, review, subscribe, and pay it forward by sharing with a friend. Most importantly, take this opportunity to start constructing your life by taking immediate action on what you learned. For show notes, resources, and more information on one-on-one coaching with Austin, visit constructyourlifepodcast.com.